Good morning, friends. It is a beautiful day here in Kentucky, and today I would love to share with you my garden, my flower garden, things that we're doing. I haven't yet stopped to really show you guys. You've gotten a little bit of a glimpse here and there as we're kind of running around doing things and building things and putting things together. I warn you up front, it is not fancy. This is my third year in gardening, my first year here, and we went from a smaller backyard garden to a much larger gardens this year. So we're trying to stay on top of it, but the grass is winning. So I'm trying to work with the grass at this point because I need extra ground covering. And we're making plans for what we're going to do next year in hopes to kind of improve on the process. But there's no perfection in this. I don't try to strive for perfection, but learn in the progress. And that's what we are trying to do here, is make some progress. So I want to share with you what I have put my heart into. It has brought me so much joy. So let's get started. I've got my sidekick with me. She's always out in the yard with me. We did bring our Monstera with us. We keep it inside. Right now we have got 2 clippings that we've taken off of it, and we are rooting those, hopefully. And then we're going to put those into more planters to keep in the house because these are not Kentucky friendly. They are house plants here. I still have my aloe, couldn't give this up, but it is also a house plant now instead of me keeping it outside. In the front yard here we have our green stalks. I've had some success with my green stalks this year. Definitely good for flowers. We've done okay with strawberries, but they are infested with slugs. And I'm doing what I can to combat the slugs, but my herbs just did not do well in these. So I went ahead and moved my herbs, most of my herbs out of them. We are working on the front flower bed for the house. This spot over here is mostly shade. This is the most sun that it gets all day. It has about an hour or 2 of sun, and then it is shade for the rest of the day. It stays very wet and moist. But up here, this seems to get the perfect amount of sun. I have put everything in here from lavender. I have my mint down here in the bucket so it doesn't take over. My lemon balm is struggling, but that was my first one I put in, and I think it got a little too much sun. But I have some columbine in here. These are called false sunflowers. I've never seen these before, but I fell in love with the variegated leaves, and I had to bring it home. It was one of those, oh my goodness, I need this, and I picked it up. These are, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, black-eyed Susans. They have not bloomed yet, and they may not bloom this year. They may bloom next year, but I'm hoping to get some blooms. I see that we've got some goodness happening here. So we may actually have blooms here soon. Lavender is doing amazing. I have never had so much success with growing flowers, especially lavender. It's usually dead in a week when I plant it. I have my coneflowers in here, or echinacea. I picked up a few different colors. This one has been struggling with slugs and some other pest damage. I think I am on top of it now. I've put a few things down to try to help, and we have a friendly Mr. Spider down there, so I'm hoping that he will help in the process as well. These are African daisies. This is the first plant I bought when we moved here to put outside. It is doing really well. I just deadheaded it the other day, so it's going to continue to bloom. We'll get some new blooms. I'm trying to keep my shadow out of the so you can see. But I've got some more coneflowers, Shasta daisies. These will get bigger over time. We got a really good rain yesterday, which I figured now is the perfect time to show you the flowers, because everything has just really kind of popped up, very refreshed, and just has that extra oomph because it got the rain. I have 2 different kinds of lemon balm in. Joe found these for me. I was really struggling with finding lemon balm. Volunteer rose, we don't know what it is. The previous owner of the home, probably 3 owners back, we're thinking had roses when we looked at old pictures of the house. She had planted roses. There's one there, and there is one up here in the front yard. The other one we took out, but they are doing really well. This one I know has a beautiful pink, kind of a fuchsia rose. The other one was here, and we took out that whole section so that I could put in my herb garden. It wasn't doing very well anyways, because a tree had actually grown in the middle of it, and the tree had to come out. I picked up some extra just bright yellow, colorful flowers. I bought them on a whim, but they are beautiful. Obviously, I love yellow. I love fuchsias. I love daisies. This little guy is a Shasta daisy. He came from Home Depot. This was a markdown clearance item. All I'm going to do is deadhead this and get it in the ground. Obviously the greenery is fine. It had some broken branches on it. It probably got dropped. But it will come back and rebloom and just be beautiful. I have Miss Hannah's carnations out here. This was her flower she picked. It has bloomed a few times now. I need to go through and deadhead it. And then we have Joe's butterfly bush. It was also a clearanced item. This was like a $25 or $28 bush, and he got it for I think 75% off, and we've nursed it back to health, so it is looking much better. Has a lot of new greenery on it. Over here we also have picked up some clearanced. This is cat mint. It is in the catnip family, in the mint family. This has a much more pleasant smell than catnip. This is cat mint. It has a really sweet floral smell. So we're going to plant that around the back of the house because I do not want it to take over my front yard. Joe's fig from Florida is doing remarkably well here. We have figs that are actually coming in. In Florida, we struggled with some type of fungus or disease that the fig plants get. And here, I mean, this whole thing was dead, and now it has completely reflowered. I don't know if you guys can see it with that. Oh, the sun is bright. Very, very bright. There we go. The whole top half of this was a stick. We had one leaf on the top, and it finally fell off, and it has completely come back. Just absolutely beautiful. They're not supposed to be this tall. This is a miniature fig, and apparently we fed it well. It has really grown. I did start my herb garden. This is the first time that I've really done this outside of a green stalk. I'm figuring it out as I'm going. I keep pinching off the flowers. It has been so hot here. Everything just kind of went straight to seed. So I've been picking and pinching to keep it from going to seed. My dill is getting ready to go to seed, and I just started to get my first cucumbers, so that's going to come off the top. My other dill, the heat got to it, but it is still alive. It's got some new greenery coming in here, so it's going to bounce back and be fine. I'll probably come in and pinch some of those spots off, but it should be good. I picked up some Thai basil, sweet basil. I love the purple basil. I've never eaten it, but it smells wonderful. And come on, it's purple. It's pretty. I picked up some English thyme. And then the one in the back there is a lemon thyme. I tried to grow this from seed and did not have any success. It seems to be very difficult for me to start herbs from seed. I haven't mastered that yet, but I'm going to. We've got some rosemary. I picked up some basil back here. I am not sure what variety this basil is. I picked this up from a local nursery and it's just marked basil. So it could be a sweet basil. I'm not quite sure. I picked up some celery. This is an experiment. Joe and I are really into experimenting with the garden and kind of stepping out of our comfort or what other people have told us to do. He is much more likely to experiment than I am. I like to stick to the book, to the rules, to do things a certain way. It's just, maybe it's how I'm hardwired, military kid and all. But he does things differently. So he's put, I don't know what this is. It could be a squash, a yellow squash, because we lost a few and he picked up an extra one. He's got a brandywine tomato back here in a pot. And he is feeding it differently than what we're feeding in the garden. So we're seeing how it does. And so far you can see they are doing really well. And they're just in pots. So even if you don't have the big yard to garden in, you can still do it in a pot and just put it on your porch. Yesterday, I took some green onions from the store and threw them in the ground. Now, I don't necessarily want the bulb of the onion on these. I am looking for the greenery at the top, and this will continue to grow and grow and grow. And I just come out here and trim off the tops and use what I need. And as I get more from the store, I'll come out here and put more. This lemon balm is doing a lot better than my other one. It has bounced back quite nice. This is another experiment. These are onions. As you can see, I have the really pretty garden beds here, which I will link below because these were very affordable. I think these, when I got them, they were $45 each, and they are very sturdy, very well-made garden beds. I was very impressed. But we have the herb gardens in those because I knew where I wanted it, and it's going to stay here permanently, and we are going to build like a pergola or some type of sunshade over them because the sun is very intense in the yard. I get more than 8 hours of sun out here. So it's a little too much for herbs. But Joe's onions, we decided to use a tote. We want to get larger beds, but we've kind of maxed out what we can spend on this garden right now. We are definitely in financially for this garden, and it is producing, so we will definitely get back out of it what we've put in, but it does take time, and I'm just kind of at that point where I've said no more garden beds. Let's use what we have. So we've put some holes in the bottom of this. He filled it with leftover compost that we got from a nursery, and he threw the onions in it. It may or may not work. We don't know, but boy, if it does, we will be in onions. This is garden A. This is the front yard garden, the first one we put in. It is a very healthy garden. It is producing, and wow, I cannot keep up with the weeds. We could not get enough straw to put down to help suppress the weeds, and we didn't get the straw down soon enough. So I go in and just kind of hand weed and throw it back down on the ground. What I have found, and this is so interesting, is that the rabbits that we have, and we have an abundance of rabbits, they all live in those bushes and trees back there. They eat the grass and the clover and the dandelions. There's several different beneficial plants that grow through here, and they eat that and leave my plants alone. But anyways, next year we are hoping to get the straw in sooner. I may put weed fabric down. I don't know. I kind of want to stay away from that. A lot of people said, of course, do mulch. Now, I live in northern Kentucky. We have already found subterranean termites here, and I am not willing to add more food in the yard for them. So the mulch that I have up by the house is... Let's take a quick look. So this mulch that I put down, I'm getting sidetracked. But the mulch that I put down here, this is cedar mulch, and cedar mulch is very aromatic. It has a really, really strong smell to it. It smells wonderful to me. This is a light layer of mulch. For one, is because it's around my flowers. So this is not thick. And I go through and hand pick the little weeds that come up, but very light layer of mulch. I want my flowers to spread. I will put a new layer in next year, but very light layer of mulch. This helps repel. Doesn't completely get rid of, but helps repel other not so friendly bugs. It even helps repel rodents, cockroaches and things. And we're way out here in the country, so you better believe if it's a bug, it's living out here. Because I think I've seen just about everything at this point. But I am going to trim this with rocks that we have found in the ground here. I've got to break some up. I pulled up a really old stone path, and there is still more buried along here. But wow, they are big and heavy. So, back to Garden B. Let's check out Garden B here. Try to ignore my grass and weeds, but we have put in several tomato plants. We have some big boys, some cherry, some purple Cherokee, brandywine. There's a few yellow out here, and they were listed as a yellow tomato because I got these from a nursery. But these are the healthiest all the way down. I don't know if you guys can see. I've got my sunglasses on, so it's hard to see. They are healthy all the way down. Joe has asked me, because these are his experiment tomatoes, to please not prune them. I would much rather come out here and prune. He is trying a few different things. He's even put in a copper rod down here. There is some type of scientific reasoning behind this. I love this man's brilliant mind. This is the only plant in our garden that has not had aphids. Go figure. The rest of them have had aphids. I have sprayed them down with neem oil, and they seem to be doing well. We did have a bit of a heavy rain yesterday, and of course, heavy rain, some wind. So I'm seeing some of my tomatoes out here have flopped over. We'll come out and get them tied up. See my little aphids? I don't know if you guys can see those. So what I usually do is squish them. Just roll your fingers over them. but I will come out tonight and retreat them. Tie these few plants up. Most of these have been tied up already. But they got away from me really fast. They grew so fast that I didn't get out here and prune the bottoms in time. So I have got, instead of a single stem, double and triple stems. Did better with these. These went in much later. My zinnias. It's my first year growing zinnias. This has got to be one of my favorite flowers now, next to my daisies. They are so beautiful. All of them came up. All of them have done wonderful out here. Oh, we got another flopper. This one needs to be tied up. We'll get you. We shall get you done. These are starting to bounce back. This last row of tomatoes was the last tomatoes I put in. This one's starting to bounce back. They seem to really struggle on this last row. I don't know if it's because I planted them next to my okra or if they just went in a time when it was too hot. But you can see all the greenery that's coming back on the bottom, which I hate that it's doing that. I may have to take those out. I don't want my plants to get sick. And having those leaves touch the ground like this is a guaranteed way for a plant to get sick. Get out here and do some trimming. But like I said, I'm not aiming for perfection. And sometimes I can be a little hard on myself. So don't not garden because your garden's not as pretty as someone else. Don't not garden because you don't know all the A, B's, and C's to it. Just jump in and do it. You will figure it out. There is no really right and wrong. So many people say do this, do this, do that. It doesn't work for every area. It doesn't work for every soil. It doesn't work for every person. Joe is a chaos gardener. He throws it in the ground. He has no plan. And I'm going to show you his garden in the back. It makes mine look really bad, but it just shows you that two personalities that garden in two different ways can still grow food. So, yes, okra just seemed like it boomed overnight. It was so slow growing, and now there's so much of it. Oh, it looks like something got a pepper plant. So I come out every morning and every evening and check my garden. So I can tell immediately when something has changed. And obviously this is a change. So this could be bunny damage or deer damage. And these are jalapenos. So usually you can plant spicy peppers next to the edge of your gardens and it will help keep out pests. Where's my dog? Bella? Oh, lost track of the dog. So usually you can plant a spicy pepper, a cayenne or ghost pepper or something. It will help keep out rabbits, chipmunks, and things. I don't necessarily know what got this. It could have been a deer. I'll look at our camera and see if I can figure it out. But I did get two. I just took them off last night. 2 jalapenos off of this plant. But it'll be okay. I will probably brush the dog out today and dump some of her hair around these plants to help deter bunnies and deer. Up here I have my okra. They just, wow, they just boomed overnight. And okra, every plant has some. But okra grows so fast. So by this evening, I will come back for this one because it will grow. This one was not this big last night. Hopefully it's probably woody at this point, but I will come back out and get this. I love okra. We all love okra. My 7-year-old loves okra. They are looking so good. I do have one that is struggling. Not quite sure why this one's just a slow grower. You get out of. This one's been a slow grower. Not sure why, but oh, look, we got another one. Holy cow. They surprise me all the time. And these have beautiful flowers, beautiful yellow flowers with purple centers. We have one that's getting ready to bloom. They're beautiful. And then I do believe they're related to hibiscus plants. I'll have to look that up to check. Don't take my word for that. Beautiful flower. When this blooms, it'll die off that evening, and then an okra will appear there. But goodness, they are doing so well. I have stonehead cabbage in. This was another experiment of mine. The dreaded white moths or butterflies, whatever you want to call them. They lay eggs on brassicas and go, shoo, 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 out of my garden. They lay eggs on the brassicas and the caterpillars decimate them. They can eat them so fast. So you'll have damage like this. And I usually come out and I look for signs like little caterpillar poo. I look for eggs and I flip leaves over. See, there he is. And I squish him. It took a few years to get to the squish part. I would knock them off and squish them with my foot. The real big ones, I sometimes do that. But once you find them, they can be so easily lost when you turn your head and come back and you're like, wait, where did I see that? They're the same green as the plant. And because of that, you know, you turn your head to get your jar or gloves or whatever to squish them, and there's a baby one. You lose it, and then you can't find it again. So I come out twice a day and do this. And then I have rabbits. So, I mean, for the most part, the broccoli is doing okay. The cabbage is surviving. And I don't know what I'll get. But I have dumped dog hair out here. It's really wet. It looks gross. But I have put dog hair out here to help deter the rabbits from eating my plants. Most of this is bug damage. The rabbits have left them pretty much alone. The rabbits haven't touched my cabbage. So the damage that I have is bugs alone. But everything is going really well. I'm very surprised. I've never been able to grow broccoli. Heck, I've never been able to grow cucumbers, and I can't wait to show you those. These are a purple long bean. These were planted 3 weeks apart. So this was my first planting. These are obviously bigger. And then I put a row of these in. I did plant some scarlet beans because I wanted the flowers. None of those came up. Not a one. I have sunflowers here on the end. That will be a sunflower. If the bunnies or deers don't get it, these will be sunflowers. I planted quite a few, and those were the only ones that came up. But that's okay. call those bonus flowers. So it's kind of a grassy mess out here. Real quick side note, this is going to be a wildflower bed. We've got sunflowers out here. I planted a wildflower mix and then came out here and just threw seeds everywhere. So there are Mexican sunflowers out here, your traditional big mammoth sunflower, the black seed sunflower. But there's also daisies in there, cosmos, all sorts of things. I have, something came in last night and loved on my peppers. Holy cow. Took the pepper off of it too. So I will have to go back and watch our security cameras. These are bell peppers. Little lanky when I bought them, but they were discounted very heavily because they were basically dying. These over here are banana peppers. Something's been munching on them. So far, these were the first ones that went in, and nothing has touched them. I've already taken peppers off of these plants, and they have already refruited. But yes, I'm definitely going to pull up that security camera. More than likely it was a deer. While I'm walking to the backyard, I'm going to let her in. I can't remember if I unlocked the back door. She might have to go through the front. Yep, it's still locked. You stay with me. So back here, we put blueberries. We were not sure where to put them, so we just picked a spot. The deer got to them. We keep forgetting to water them, and they look rough. I know that in Florida we tried, and they were dead within a week. Bella, stay in our yard, please. We put buckets out here and fill them with water. There's still some water in that one, and it slowly drips out. This back here is not ours. This is our neighbors to the left of us. It is their land. It is their family's land. It is generational land, and this is the original home for the house that we live in. The original barn, which is back here, I think I've told you guys before, it fell. We are working on clearing it out. That's where the new barn will go. But they still own the acreage behind us and behind these neighbors that live next to us, which is their family. And they use it for hay. So we own this and what's across the yard. The original landowner, I believe it's the Craycrafts. I might say that name wrong. I want to say it's the Craycrafts. Had the land, and with marriage and things like that, the last name had switched over to Lawrence, and that's what it is now. And we purchased the property from a Lawrence. The grandfather, after becoming ill, sold off chunks of his land. So the people that are catty corner from us purchased land, and they now have three generations living on their land. Their sons are there, their grandchildren are there. And it's something special to see out here. A lot of people live with their family or have additional family on their property. It is everywhere. And it just seems like, why aren't more people doing this? I know we want to escape from our houses and we're like, I'm not living with mom and dad. I can't wait to go. But honestly, it is the easiest way to take care of a parent. It is the easiest way to help out a brother, a sister, an aunt, an uncle. Bella likes to play in the field. Come here. Especially since they've already mowed and picked up all the hay. She loves it out there. But families come together out here. And this is a very long road. And all of these people know each other. It is unbelievable. From the front of this street, which is 15 minutes down the road, to the back of this street, which is another 20 minutes, all these people know each other, generation after generation. I mean, I wish I could say that my family has that kind of legacy. And we just weren't brought up that way. You know, I was born in the city, pretty much brought up in the city. Definitely not where I wanted to be. So we are back by Garden B. This is the garden that is behind the house, what I call behind the house. It's actually on the side of the house. But this is Joe's garden. This is what he has planted, what he keeps track of. And you'll see the difference in what we do. And I think he does it quite well. So I had doubts. I did. I was like, you're not following the directions, the book, the plan. Man, there is something about just planting. Just planting and I don't know, just kind of going with it, at least in this. But I'm going to show you. You guys can comment below and tell me what you think. So this is Joe's garden. Everything is lush and green. We do have some deer and bunny that come back here. But we have everything from rhubarb, watermelon, yellow squash, cucumbers, zucchini. He picked up some more tomatoes. There's about four in here. I'm not sure what variety. We saw some tomatoes that were discounted and picked them up. Oh, this one's got a watermelon beefsteak. That's going to be beautiful. That's the ones that have kind of like the multicolor. It's a green and red, so that'll be really neat. Inside here, I mean, usually what happens, and this is what blows my mind, is that these plants, if I had planted them in Florida, would be dead within a week. They wouldn't get this big. The bugs would have eaten them alive right from the time I put them in the ground. Or they would have gotten powdery mildew. But his plants are doing so well. This is yellow squash back here. You can see the yellow squash that is coming in. He has got, I don't think we have any zucchini yet. We got pokeweed coming up in there. I haven't seen any zucchini. I think this one might be, oh, there we go. There is our first baby zucchini. You can actually also, we'll let all of them go by. You can actually eat the squash flowers, which is amazing. I had no idea. The things you learn about your plants when you're looking things up. You can eat squash flowers. These are cucumbers. Yep, we got a few down here. There's a baby cucumber that's going. I don't want to disturb them too much, especially with the fruit on them. They hide from you, so if you don't check, they'll get away from you. You don't want a bitter or tough cucumber. I see a little bit of caterpillar poo, so I might come out and do some searching. Good. But cucumbers.
Running clobber.
That's why I don't let her jump on me.
Let's go to the cat nest. Go over here.
This one's a spaghetti squash. Spaghetti squash?
What about it?
This,
that one.
that one.
That's 2 plants.
2 plants.
Yeah, one on the left, one on the right.
It grew last night. It was not that tall yesterday. I had something decide to eat my pepper plants.
Right, dear.
So they lopped the top off my jalapeno and then ate the back end of some of my green peppers and banana peppers.
Grab the spray.
So
Start coating everything down for the next 3 weeks.
let me see if I can find one of the bigger ones.
Another way?
Bigger. I know we got a big one in. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, sure.
I can't wait till these are done. I love spaghetti squash. Watermelon. I'm standing in my light again. I have realized I have to stand against the sun. My shadow casts.
Yeah. Watermelon, green beans.
What kind of green beans?
Bush pole beans.
Bush pole beans.
They'll climb up the lattice, the panel.
I saw some zucchini.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's got one too.
Butternut squash.
This is a butternut
That's
squash?
supposed to be a butternut.
Okay, it's green.
Okay, I'll look.
This looks like a zucchini.
It's supposed to be butternut. That's what it was labeled as when I bought it. Then again, I bought that at the trade show.
It's a mutant. It says butternut on it.
Yeah.
But that's not butternut squash.
Great. Butternut's supposed to grow like watermelon. It's supposed to bind.
Yes.
Bella, where
Because
you
we've
at?
done that before. And they come in beige.
Bella!
So, more watermelon? Or just melons?
Watermelon.
Watermelon?
These are watermelons.
Watermelon.
3 on the back, 1 in the middle.
And then corn.
Corn in the middle, corn to your right. I also have green beans at the base of the corn in the middle. You go up the corn. More of the climbing beans that are up inside at the base of each of the stalks I transplant. Most of them. I got purple green beans underneath the lattice over here, the panel over here. And if my rhubarb does anything, I've got 2 rhubarb. There's a purple nub sticking
Oh, I
up.
see them. I hope I didn't step on them when I was watering.
Maybe there's one there, one there. And then your sunflowers, you've got one in here that's popping up. I think that's a sunflower sprout.
That's a possibility. Looks like it. We'll know when the 3rd leaf comes off.
Put a line in.
Hard to say.
These are melons. Cantaloupe melons.
Oh, cantaloupe melons. Okay.
These are melons. These are purple beans. They're taking their time. These were planted like 2 weeks before the other beans. They're older seeds.
Go check out the trees.
That cucumber ready to come in.
Definitely got to get the cucumbers. I put the snippers and the the white colander on the front porch because I came out the front door.
Tomato, 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 tomato.
Tomatoes are looking great. I do have to tie up the rest of mine. The rain and the wind pushed them over.
I gotta get out here, tie the melons up too.
Yeah. So like I was saying, his garden is doing well. He controls weeds by tilling in between stuff. Obviously he can't till between the corn, but I came out last night and hand weeded for a little while and then went back in. So over here we are working on an orchard, little at a time. Obviously trees are more expensive than vegetables. We put in 2 peaches and 3 apples. 3 apples, or is there a pear in here? 3 apples. Found a hole. Okay, so Granny Smith, a Red Delicious in the middle, and my Honey Crisp got eaten by deer. So we fenced them a little late. We are hoping that it bounces back. I think our bucket hole is clogged. This is full. It's like the water's all the way up, unless it filled up with the rain, but it's not draining. Yeah. That one's full too. So we may have to come out and widen these holes. They keep getting clogged. Well, that little tree, if it continues to grow that way, the deer are going to get it. Really tall deer. We're hoping they are going to bounce back. But I don't know if you can see the water in the buckets. It slowly seeps out. Keeps them watered and moist. My neighbors are outside, so be respectful of not recording them. We do have a fig over here that it was doing really great, and the deer got it and took quite a bit off of it. But it's working its way back. The fly trap actually deters the deer because it has a horrible smell to it. Joe loves tropical plants. That was one of the things we loved about living in Florida, is all the tropical fruit and the tropical plants we could grow. And he had to leave a lot of them behind. Our mango, I wish I had gotten some pictures of it. Our 2 mango trees we had in the front yard, I mean, doubled in size, bloomed beautifully. And I am sure the new owners of that house are enjoying an abundance of mango. Yes, indeed. So here we are growing different things. Putting in apple trees, pears. I plan on getting a hazelnut and a chestnut tree. We do have black walnut trees. We have several of them on our property. Some of them we are going to have to cut down. They have termites, so we need to eliminate those trees. And we have some box elder maple next to the house that we are seeing that it has rooted up and under the house. So those need to come out as well. They are too close to the house. We are planning on putting a nice deck over there, planting some additional trees that are more friendly for our yard, and then putting in extra garden beds around those. Obviously, anything we take out of the ground, we will put in twice as much. And we are surrounded by trees. I mean, especially across the street. We have tons of wild black raspberries, blackberries. But some of the things that have just naturally grown here have taken over. And with the house having elderly owners, they were not able to keep up with it. So we are kind of going back through and cleaning out those things, trying to keep as much as we can of what they put in. There's pennies, pineys, peonies, whatever you want to call them, down by our mailbox and our front steps that a previous owner put in. They are beautiful. They are well established. We did have to rip one out, and it was a great challenge. So now we are trying to thin them and kind of work around them. Eventually, when we bring the step decking up the walkway here to the patio and expand the patio, we are going to have to take out another one. We're hoping we can dig it up and move it. There's no guarantees with that, but we'll try to do what we can because they are beautiful. And, keeping things that we seen that they had planted, like the roses. Everything else we've kind of had to take out and remove. We know the property was used as a goat farm at one point, that they had some cows, but other than that, we just hear things here and there from people who knew the family that have come by and just stopped to talk to us. They are absolutely thrilled and ecstatic that somebody moved into the property and is working to clean it up and rebuild it, restore it, and turn it back into a family home, a homestead. It's a piece of history that has been on this street for a long time. A lot of people have to drive past it. So when you drive past a house that has, grass up to the waist, and then all of a sudden it all disappears and somebody puts in gardens and trees and there's flowers, you take notice. And it's been great that a lot of people have stopped by and shared the history of the house, or a piece of history, or a memory of a previous owner. We're very blessed that we have the previous owner's granddaughter that lives next door to us. And she has told me tons of stories of her growing up and playing in the barn and playing in the lean-tos and sledding down the hill across the street, and just memories she has of her grandmother and grandfather. It's just pieces that she remembers here and there. She is well into her late 60s, early 70s, and it is wonderful that we have that next door. So many people question their property, like who owned it, who were they, what were they like, why did they live here, what did they do, and we have some of those answers, which is great. The only thing that we don't have is an exact date to when the property was built. We know when the barn was built. We found that on a map. We cannot find the house, what year it was built. So right now we are stuck between 1860 and 1920, and I'm doing that based on similar homes in the area, the style of the home, the architecture, structure, the fireplace that's inside helps date the house. Materials that were used, the type of wood that we've seen in the attic space. So, little pieces here and there of a puzzle we are putting together. But guys, thank you for joining me today. You have continued to follow me on my journey, on my family's journey, and we really love that we are able to sit down and share it with you guys, share it with our friends and our families. Um, so thank you so much for joining me again. And I hope to continue to share with you our journey and take you on many more garden tours as things start to fruit and we're able to harvest some more from it. I can't wait to share that with you guys. So, as always, I bless you on your journey and I thank you for coming with me on mine.